My landlord didn't knock. He unlocked the door like he owned my spine, stepped into the hallway, and said, "Where is it?" Like we were already past the part where I got to pretend I was innocent. Behind him, I could see his jaw tight in the peephole mirror, and behind me I could feel my roommate, Kara, hovering in her doorway, silent in that way that makes you feel like you're the only one under a spotlight. "I don't know what you're talking about," I said, and my voice did that annoying thing where it sounds guilty just because it's trying to stay calm. He didn't raise his voice. That was the part that scared me. The envelope, the rent cash. Don't play games with me. I'm not a cash rent person by choice. I'm a front desk manager at a small gym, the kind with flickering fluorescent lights and members who tell you their cholesterol numbers like it's flirtation. My landlord, Mr. Sloan, is old school and weirdly proud of it. Every month I'd walk 2 blocks to his office and hand him an envelope with my name on it. He'd tear it open in front of me, count it, nod once, and stuff it in a drawer that never looked locked. That month, he'd texted me, "Slide under my office door. I'm out." It felt off, but I did it anyway because I had just worked a double and didn't want to deal with him. I even took a photo of the envelope half under the door like a dorky delivery confirmation. 2 days later, he's standing in my apartment accusing me of stealing my own rent back. Apparently he went into his office, and the envelope with my name on it was gone. Kara finally spoke, sweet as sugar. "That's awful. Maybe it fell behind the desk?" Mr. Sloane's eyes didn't move from me. I checked. "I've been doing this a long time. I don't misplace money." I wanted to say, "Yes you do, you just don't admit it." But I was suddenly aware of how vulnerable you are when someone can decide you're a problem tenant. It's not like you can appeal to a landlord's manager. He gave me 24 hours to make it right before he filed a police report. He said it like he was doing me a favor. After he left, my hands were shaking so hard I spilled my coffee on the mail pile. Kara did the whole concerned roommate routine, big eyes, sympathetic noises, offering me half a Xanax like we were in a movie. "Do you think he's bluffing?" I asked. Kara shrugged. "He seems intense. But you have the photo, right? You'll be fine." In hindsight, that was my first real clue. Her calm didn't match the stakes. She was too steady, like she already knew the ending. That night I slept maybe 40 minutes, waking up every time a car door slammed outside. I kept imagining a cop at my work asking my boss if I seemed like the stealing type. I'm not even a rebellious person. I get stressed returning library books. The next day, I went to Mr. Sloane's office with my phone out and my photo ready like a shield. He looked at it for half a second and snorted. "You could have taken that and pulled it back out. Don't insult me." Then he said something that made my stomach drop. "Kara already paid her half, so this is on you." I blinked. "Kara paid you? Cash? She came by yesterday, said you were having trouble and she didn't want issues." He leaned forward like he was sharing gossip. "She's a responsible young lady. Unlike some people." I walked out of there with my ears ringing. Kara had never mentioned paying her half. Also, we don't pay halves separately. We Venmo each other and I pay, because I'm the one with the paper checks and the organized brain. The idea of her strolling in with cash and playing savior was so out of character it felt like a costume. When I got home, she was on the couch with her laptop, legs tucked under her, looking cozy. She didn't even look up until I said, "Why did you pay Mr. Sloan?" Her fingers paused over the keyboard. He was freaking out. "I didn't want him banging on our door again." "You didn't tell me." "I was going to." She made a face like I was being dramatic. "I just handled it." That phrasing, "handled it," hit me wrong. I asked to see the withdrawal receipt. She laughed like it was cute that I was asking for proof. "You don't trust me?" I didn't answer, because the truth was blooming in my chest, slow and ugly. Kara doesn't have spare money. She's always waiting on a deposit. She borrows $20 for groceries and pays it back in vibes. I went to my room and sat on my bed staring at the wall, replaying the last week. The weird request to slide the envelope under the door. Kara offering to help me do it because she was already going out. Her being the one who insisted we shouldn't use checks because cash is simpler. And the small detail that made everything click. My photo of the envelope under the office door. In the reflection of the glass, you could see a sliver of someone behind me. At the time, I'd assumed it was just a passerby on the sidewalk. I zoomed in until the pixels blurred. That wasn't a passerby. It was Kara's thrifted denim jacket with the embroidered sunflower on the sleeve. She had been there. I felt cold, then hot, then cold again. Not just because it meant she could have taken the envelope after I left, but because of the absolute audacity of her sitting in our living room acting like she was on my side. I didn't confront her right away. I did something I'm not proud of, but I also don't regret. I went into her room while she was in the shower. Her room was a chaotic museum of half-finished craft projects and clothes that never made it to hangers. I opened her top drawer because that's where she keeps important stuff. Under a stack of expired coupons and a hairbrush full of blonde hair, I found an envelope. Not my original one. That was gone. But an envelope with Mr. Sloane's office letterhead on it. Inside was a wad of cash and a folded note. The note was in Kara's handwriting. Paid my half plus extra. Please don't involve cops. I don't want her to know I covered for her. She's embarrassed. K. The cash amount was almost exactly what I'd paid for rent. My hands were so numb I could barely put it back the way I found it. So the plan was, take my rent envelope, wait for Mr. Sloane to panic, then swoop in with her half and a sob story about me being broke and ashamed. It made her look noble, made me look unreliable, and most importantly, it bought her control. Kara had been talking for weeks about wanting to switch rooms because mine was bigger. I'd said no because I pay more. She'd also been pushing the idea that we should split the rent evenly because we're friends. This wasn't just about money. It was about leverage. I didn't want a screaming match. I wanted proof that didn't rely on Mr. Sloane suddenly developing a conscience. So I texted him from my car. Can we talk? I think I know what happened. Please don't file anything yet. He agreed to meet at his office. When I arrived, I turned on my phone's voice memo in my pocket. I'm in a one-party consent state, and for once, that boring legal trivia mattered. I showed him the zoomed-in photo first. He squinted. That's someone. It's my roommate, I said. She offered to come with me. I said no. She showed up anyway. He crossed his arms. So you're saying she stole your envelope? I'm saying she's trying to make me look like a thief. Check your cameras. His office building has one of those sad security cameras that looks like it was installed during the Bush administration. Mr. Sloane had told us it didn't really work, which I always assumed was landlord speak for, don't ask me to. He hesitated, then opened a cabinet and pulled out a dusty DVR box like he was embarrassed it existed. We watched the footage in grainy black and white. There I was, sliding the envelope under the door. I walked away. 2 minutes later, Kara appeared. She looked around, crouched, and fished the envelope out like she'd dropped her keys. Mr. Sloane's face went through several emotions without settling on any. Confusion, anger, a tiny flicker of shame. She came back, he said, like his brain didn't want to accept it. Then the most satisfying part. He rewound it and watched it again, slower. Do you want to still file a police report? I asked quietly. He looked at me like he'd just realized he'd been about to ruin my life over his own certainty. No, he cleared his throat. I'll handle this. He printed a still frame from the footage and, at my request, wrote and signed a statement confirming I had delivered the rent and the envelope had been removed by someone else. I didn't trust him not to get slippery later. When I got home, Kara was in the kitchen making pasta like we weren't all living inside her lie. I didn't raise my voice. I just put the printed still frame on the counter. She stared at it, and her face did this tiny collapse inward, like she couldn't hold the performance anymore. I was going to put it back, she said. After what? I asked. After he called the cops? After you got the bigger room? After I begged you? Her eyes filled up, but it felt strategic. I just needed a win. Everything's been hard. I didn't argue with her feelings. I just said, you have to move out. She laughed once, sharp and disbelieving. You can't kick me out. I can't, I agreed. But Mr. Sloane can. That got her attention. Mr. Sloane served her a notice the next day. He framed it as unauthorized access to office property and theft, which was generous compared to what he could have done with the footage. Kara tried to plead with me in the hallway, tried to make it about forgiveness and friendship and how I was being heartless. Maybe I was, but I also couldn't unsee that crouch, that quick glance around, the ease of it. She was gone in 2 weeks. I changed my bedroom lock the same day she left. Mr. Sloane apologized in a stiff, landlord way and offered to let me pay by check going forward. I said yes and started photographing every payment like I'm documenting a crime scene, because apparently that's who I am now. The irony is I spent days panicking that I looked like a thief, only to learn the person closest to me was practicing on my life like it was a puzzle she could rearrange. I'm still anxious sometimes when someone knocks unexpectedly, but at least I know what betrayal sounds like. A calm voice behind you saying, "You'll be fine."